Hi, I'm Tara Lynn of Geek Saga Entertainment, and welcome to Hot D Takes. This podcast series covers HBO's House of the Dragon episode by episode with myself, an avid reader of all things ASWAF, and my friend Manny, a Game of Thrones fan who is unsullied, aka has never read the books, being your stalwart host. First things first, you can find me on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at A Geek Saga.
And I'm Manny, the aforementioned unsullied co-host, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Manissimo Art. Thanks for joining us for this episode, which will cover House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 4, entitled Tumbleton.
As a reminder, expect spoilers from the episode we're covering, but less obvious, there will be very minimal book spoilers from Fire and Blood, which is, of course, the source material for House of the Dragon. And again, just want to reiterate that anything we talk about from Fire and Blood will be stuff that has already happened in the book. We will not be spoiling, or I will not be. Specifically, I will not be spoiling anything that might happen in the future of the show, at least not on purpose. And I am, especially this season, trying to be very, very careful not to even say anything that might be something that happened in the books in the past that could come to fruition in the show. So keep that in mind. That said, the chances of us talking about Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 8, aka all of them, and or Night of the Seven Kingdoms also exist. So we cannot promise there will be no spoilers from those because Manny and I have both watched all of those TV series. We're going to start with a summary of Tumbleton, then cover what we think are the main hot takes from this episode, and conclude with a favorites roundup from this week's new installment.
We also have a rating system that we will, like true Targaryens, fill in when and where we please, and that system includes rating things on a scale of 1 to 10 Targ eyebrows.
Just one last piece of business before we dig in. Don't forget that Geek Saga Entertainment has a Patreon. It offers tons of ways to support us and receive some great perks in return, including access to these Hot D Takes live streams Mondays at 7 p.m. while the show is airing for $5 and up a month, or early access to the video recordings of these episodes, which come out about 24 hours after the live stream airs, as well as early access to the podcast episodes. And those both happen for just $3 a month. Check it out at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.
And now it's time for the long and the short of it, our weekly episode summary.
For an episode that was named Tumbleton, we didn't actually spend an excessive amount of time in that town. But before we get into everything else that happened in the episode, let's go ahead and deal with that local news. Because when Ormond and his forces first arrive in this titular place, it's in a surprisingly orderly fashion. The locals might not like the foreign exchange soldier program they're being set up with, but Ormond's forces are set up to bunk with Tumbleton residents nonetheless, while Ormond himself takes the seat of House Footleigh for his base. Not surprisingly, though, it doesn't take long for things to get a bit messy. Lord Baratheon is making excuses rather than sending the forces Ormond is requesting. Coleslaw insists that he and his men will remain at Harrenhal. Aemond and Vhagar are still missing, so it doesn't seem as if they will show up anytime soon either. And then there's the soldier who attacks Cat, that being Hugh Hammer's wife, of all people, leading to an altercation that leaves both her brother and sister-in-law injured and causes Ormond to mete out a proper punishment to the guilty party, but then to also insist that Darren, of all people, kill Cat's brother for his so-called crime of attacking a Hightower soldier. Because, oh, that's right, y'all, the real Darren is finally revealed, and boy, oh boy, is he in Ormond's clutches. I mean, that sensitive-nosed dickhead doesn't even want Darren cozying up to his dragon, for fuck's sake. Gods, we knew we didn't like this Ormond fool. Speaking of dragons, though, we also meet back up with Baby Gone. We also meet back up with Baby Gone and Littlefoot just as they find Sunfire in the forest near Rook's Rest. Despite Sunfire not moving, not even breathing as far as anyone can tell, Baby Gone insists that his dragon is alive. Littlefooter has to practically drag Baby Gone away from the creature, insisting that they head to Rook's Rest and see about getting on a ship. A plan that is apparently put on hold while Baby Gone is assigned to clean latrines for Coleslaw that was left in that castle's ruins. And while Baby Gone is made hopefully learning some lessons in shite-covered humility, the man who left that garrison at Rook's Rest is arriving at our favorite place, LOL sarcasm, Harrenhal. Unfortunately for them, it looks as if the only living person in residence is Alice Rivers, who also happens to be the one to inform them that Aemond supposedly fled when he heard that Rhaenyra took King's Landing. And this is also the first that Coleslaw and his men are hearing of that news. But rather than take Gwaine Hightower's advice that they hie off to Tumbleton, good old Sir Cole of House Slaw insists that they instead harry the army of river scum, his words, not ours, in hopes of delaying their arrival at King's Landing. Because of course, Coleslaw would choose to act like an internet troll.
Yeah, he would. Meanwhile, in King's Landing, Master Orwell is providing himself useful. Rhaenyra is still going to Alicent for information/advice. Alicent realizes Helena is Prego, Torrin Manderly is named Master of Coin, and Corlys has abandoned ship, so to speak, leaving his son, Alan, in his stead. As for the dragon seeds, Hugh and Ulf are taking turns flying their dragon to Tumbleton to keep watch. And while Hugh takes the first turn, Ulf returns to his local watering hole, in the wake of which he pays a visit to Rhaenyra to request favors for his drinking buddies. And when she doesn't take too kindly to those requests, even ordering him to remain in Red Keep from now on, well, he plays the petty card and tells her about the anti-queen graffiti splashed on the walls of the city, of course. Obviously, Rhaenyra feels the need to do something about this, but when she ordered that the gold cloaks be sent out to get graffiti removed and the perpetrators found and punished, did she really mean for the City Watch to be so damn rough about it? Doubtful. Especially as in this episode, she announces that in her new influx of gold be distributed as alms to the small folk, and something tells us that the gold cloak's handling of the situation is going to come back to bite her in the ass. Oh, and that gold, Daemon brought it back from the Vale, but that's not all he brought with him. Granted, the head he tosses on the table in front of Rhaenyra is obviously not that of Sheepstealer's rider as he claims, but after his somewhat heart-wrenching reunion with his daughter Rhaena, Sheepstealer as actual writer, can you really blame him for trying to throw Rhaenyra off the scent, so to speak? We certainly can't, but we also have to wonder how Rhaenyra will feel about this betrayal if, or more likely when, she discovers the truth.
While we're waiting for her to make that discovery, let's get into Maester Manny's prophecies from last week. Okay. We will get back to Aemond at some point, but apparently not in this episode. I was surprised by that, though. No Aemond at all? That's 2 episodes with 0 Aemond.
But I think the rewarding part of this is that I know that right now Aemond is in the middle of season 2, going through all of those episodes like we did last time. And the only good thing is that we don't have to watch it, so that's totally fine. But I know he's really bored and he wants the show to move forward now also, because he's just been sitting there and he's like, damn, man, he was right. This fucking shit is way too long. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Either that or he's just in the bathroom perfecting his hair straightening technique.
Yeah.
One strand. He's got that little not even 1 inch, like half-inch wide chi curler from the early 2000s, set at 500 degrees, 1 strand at a time.
Yep.
We will get back to Aemond. I don't think your prediction that we will eventually get back to him, like if your prediction of him we would eventually get back to him, it wouldn't be wrong. We will get back to him, but just not in this episode. You also said that maybe we would see some Alice Rivers, maybe we would see some more Alice. I think actually you called her Alicent Rivers because that's our new nickname.
Rivers, yes.
Yeah. We would see some Alicent Rivers in this episode because she's going to be nursing Aemond back to health. We did see her not nursing him at all or involved with him at all. As far as we know,
I kind of imagine it like, because Alicent Rivers shows up and is talking to these people, and like in her bedroom she has this, she has Aemond like tied up, like what was that movie with the writer, or the
oh my god, Misery. That's
what it is. That's what's going on in the other room right now.
Misery. Yeah, but who's the writer and who's the torturer, honestly? I mean, I guess like Alicent Rivers is supposed to be the torturer, but I would think that Aemond is more obsessed with her than she would be with him. Anyway,
that is true.
But we did see Alice Rivers, so that was a very small part of that prediction was correct. Finally, you talked about Hugh the Hammer and his wife, the dragon seed and his wife being in Tumbleton, and his wife maybe gets hurt or killed, and he wants Rhaenyra to do something about it, or he wants to do something about it, but Rhaenyra won't let him, so he rebels against her. We are not there, but I think the important qualifier is to add yet, because something already happened in this episode to Kat, his wife, so I think that this is also another one that's going to be coming down the pipes.
Yes, there was definitely a build up to something like this. So
I think that because we got 3 episodes that were so, even though episode 3 wasn't super action packed, we got 3 episodes that so much was happening that we almost kind of oops D&D forgot about the fact that there will be episodes where not much really major changes, no major events.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that's probably what the next few episodes are going to be, honestly, but at least it's not in fucking Harrenhal. So
yeah, I'm going to try to do my best to not forget about these predictions that are only coming like partially true, but that we see more of the, seeds being planted for them to come to maybe, if not exact fruition, then certainly something closer to fruition later in the season. So I'll do my best to, well, we both, I guess, need to do our best to remember.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, here we go. Hot take number 1, introducing a new candidate for the worst person in Westeros, that being Ormond Hightower, of course. At first it was like, oh, okay, we don't like the guy, obviously, because he's anti our queen, but he also seemed to be trying to do things orderly, not violent fashion, so okay, it could be worse. Then him actually believing Kat and her family about what the soldier did to them, and he kind of dealt like an appropriate punishment. I was like, finally, wow, somebody's doing the right thing here.
Oh, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man, he's gonna love this.
Yeah, I was like, absolutely, this is exactly what a leader should do. He dealt out some fair punishment. I don't really play those games. I'm more of a guy where it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna take your head off. And like, I think that sends like a better message, but whatever, man. Now this guy's gonna have to suffer for it, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, he's got 50,000 men. I feel like losing whoever the fuck this is. It's not like he knew the guy's name. He had to ask.
Yeah, he had to ask. Yeah, he looked a little rough. He
probably could have just taken this guy's head. I don't really know that gelding him and like breaking his arm, or he's like, oh, you can still be at my service. Yeah, but now he's going to be fucked up from being gelded and having his arm broken. He can't fight. So just kill him and get it over with.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. I would have just killed him. And if I was going to ditch out this punishment that he did, I would have done it publicly, just to make sure that the other soldiers see it also. He gained a point or 2 there until he then had Kat's brother killed and made Daron do it. And after this, he gets all bitchy about Daron loving on his dragon and how Daron should be a Hightower, not a Targaryen. Gross. Also, the fact that Daron knows to warn the young man who is serving Ormond to get the fuck out of the room when Ormond gets the letter from Gwaine is just like he knew he had to try to protect that kid from Ormond's outburst, so gods know what he's seen or experienced to lead to that knowledge.
He's a victim of abuse.
Exactly. Victim of abuse. But you know what? Again, with this character, they just had to do it. They had to have one of these characters in this. It is Game of Thrones, and they just had to have one of these characters, the Bolton, somebody that's just really gonna like piss you off. The only thing that I can hope to get out of it is that, at least with the old writers, when they built up a character like this and they made them just kind of monstrous, they always made it really satisfying and some nice, horrible, gruesome death. So maybe we'll get the same thing here.
I do think that what they've been doing with Ormond, now granted, we got a lot of him in this episode, but I feel like they've fed it to us in like a little bit of an easier manner, like not just shoving it down your throat, like here comes Ramsay, and guess what? You know what I mean? Like, I do feel like they're doing a better job with introducing this character and showing us his nuance, I guess, because he is an asshole, but there is some nuance to him because, like you said, he meted out a proper punishment to this guy. Now he then kind of took back that point, half a point or whatever that he might have gotten from me anyway, by then going ahead and having Kat's brother killed and also like, making Daron do it on top of that. But I feel like there is more nuance to this character. What the fuck is up with because even Alicent, when Rhaenyra was asking Alicent about him, he thinks himself a scholar, and like Gwaine, and Alicent also being like, Gwaine said he was mean, but Gwaine thought that about a lot of people. He's clearly fucking mean, Alicent.
Yeah.
Stop victim blaming here. So I feel like he probably did some shit to Gwaine, and Gwaine was like, he's a bad person, and Alicent was like, oh, you think everyone's mean, because he wasn't mad to her specifically. It's like a cartoon where it's these two eagles talking to each other, and the two eagles are like, "Do you think the owl is a predator?" And one of the eagles is like, "No, he's never bothered me." The other eagle says, "Exactly. I don't know what Mr. Mouse is talking about." Like, that's Allison. Gwen thinks everybody is mean. Well, maybe everybody that Gwen thought was mean was actually an asshole, because Gwen
Yeah.
kind of seems like an all right guy. Like, yes, he's a green. Okay, fine. But he clearly like is anti-coleslaw, which we also are. So
Exactly.
oh my God. Anyway, okay. Hot take number 2. And in a completely different corner, a new candidate for MVP of the Red Keep, drum roll, please. Maester Orwell. Seriously, though, Massaria does continue to give her pro small folk advice, and she's clearly going to be important for that. But in this episode, Maester Orwell really stepped up. Really stepped it up. First, he suggested that Rhaenyra send the Rivermen who are marching to King's Landing to Tumbleton instead. Like, hey, at least it's not dragons. And Massaria was like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And Rhaenyra was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. Even without Massaria's okay, it was a good idea.
A good idea, yeah.
I mean, it still might not be the best for the people that live there, but it's better than dragons, probably.
Yeah.
We'll see about that maybe, but for now, it does seem like a better idea. And honestly, like good advice from Maester Orwell. And then in that same scene, the fact that she was like, okay, as long as you continue to be useful and give me good advice, you can be on my small council. And he goes to the table and starts taking one of their little time card balls. I don't know what else to call them. They're fucking time card balls. He's like clocking in. Did you ever work somewhere where you actually had to put a time card into one of those punchy things?
Oh yeah.
Because I did. And also computerized ones later in life. It's been a long time since I punched a literal physical time card. And all I can think of is that's what they are. They're time card balls. But he goes to pick up the ball and she's like, no, relics of a former administration, essentially. And he's like, okay. He just drops it back. Like, doesn't even question it. I know it's a stupid, silly thing, but I really loved how he was like, yeah, all right. Just clatters the ball back into its little platter.
But that's what works like so well for him for that, right? I mean, she's trying to do something new. She's trying to set up a new regime that's different. And he's all on board for it. He's like, yeah, sure. I don't want fucking talking balls either. You know, I think it's stupid and it's very kindergarten.
Pass the potato.
Exactly.
And then also he does continue to just give her the information that she requests, the letters that Otto sent to Ormond, which unfortunately, apparently somehow they have copies of the letters that Otto sent to Ormond, but he never received anything in return is what it sounded like. But whatever, Orwell gets her what she asked for. And unfortunately, Ormond never sent anything back. And he kind of talks her through that. Sounds like Ormond was just ruling Old Town as its own place, not even listening to Otto, maybe, which, listen, I can't say that I don't understand that. She asks about the connection between the Faith and the Hightowers, and he explains a little bit there. And I loved that he like outright asked her if she wanted to permanently rid herself of the current High
Yeah.
Like, Orwell, that's pushing it, honestly. That's pushing it. And I loved how Rhaenyra was like, I didn't know you were so bloodthirsty. Alas, no.
Yeah.
That was a great little like back and forth. The look on his face too, when she was like, I didn't know you were so bloodthirsty. And he was like, for a second.
Yeah.
But it was,
I got a great idea. Just get rid of him. Let's just, put him in the
It was
river
almost like he planted the idea, honestly.
Exactly. That is a repressed human being right there. He's tired of it. He just wants some violence.
Yeah, I don't think he's living like Maester Pycelle did in Game of Thrones with sex workers at his beck and call, honestly. He doesn't seem the type. So I just really thought that Orwell stepped it up a lot in this episode. I think he deserves a little bit of a shout out for that. I do want to give a little bit of a side note here. Rhaenyra keeping Orwell around also helped her to continue filling out her small council. Now, I will say that it's interesting as a book reader that the other addition to the small council in this episode was Torrin Manderly as Master of Coin, because at least at this point in her storyline in Fire and Blood, it's a Celtigar of Claw Isle, so near Dragonstone, who's named Master of Coin, and he's the one. You know how Torrin kind of in that one little mini, he's like, what about a tax? What about a tax? It's a different person in Fire and Blood who is Master of Coin at this point, who suggests things like that. Now, Torrin Manderly isn't not important. He is important. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm interested in this change. I think it probably has something, it's them kind of getting rid of maybe what they feel are extraneous characters. How it is handled going forward is going to know how I feel about it in the end. But as I mentioned when we covered episode 3, I do really like Dan Fogler. I'm very interested to see what he does with this role. So I'm interested in the fact that he was appointed Master of Coin at this point. That's quite a bit of a side note because it has nothing to do with Orwell other than this is also another new small council member, but it's not like a favorite thing. So I was like, I'm going to shoehorn this in here.
Yeah. Hot take number 3, we're not done with our awkward in this corner references yet because subbing in for Corley's is Alan of Hull. Honestly, Alan is really getting some great moments this season. And after Corley's outburst in last week's episode, it's probably a good idea for him to step away for a little bit.
We both loved Alan's scene with Rhaenyra as they were standing around Viserys's giant model of Valyria, right?
Yep.
Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that last week I might have almost definitely did, mistakenly refer to this as a model of King's Landing because, oops, I had totally forgotten what he was actually building. This is what happens when there are years between seasons and I do not have enough free time to rewatch every episode of this show. Oopsies. But we did both love that. I loved their little conversation. And she's like, fathers are great, but also maddening. And I'm over here just like, yep, that's exactly how dads are.
That is, yes, that's exactly how they are. I liked seeing the model again. It really made me sad because it made me miss Viserys so much. And I'm like, remember putting it together and all this.
And also Aegon smashed some of it too. So it's not really in the condition it was left in originally by Viserys, which is sad. And there's rats running around in it like a fucking maze. And I did love Rhaenyra's complaining about the rats. She mentions that Aegon killed all of the rat catchers and Alan's like, we use cats on the ship. And they share this really kind of cute little look. And I don't mean cute as in some sort of sexual tension sort of thing. I mean cute it felt like they were kind of cousin and cousin, really. Because
it was cousin or just
technically
good friends,
what they are, I guess. Yeah, cats, huh?
It was done good.
I could bring some cats into the Red Keep. Cats in the Red Keep. Because also, there are cats in the Red Keep in Game of Thrones. Is that how they get all these cats in the Red Keep?
Oh.
Just saying.
Plus, Alan even gets to sit in on the console in Corley's place. Between this and Adam being a freaking dragon rider, one has to think, or at least hope, that Rhaenyra is going to change her mind about legitimizing them.
Yeah, I think it'll take some time, but I really think that she's already bonded with Adam in a way, as much as she can, I think, at this point. And to her, Adam is really important because he's also riding Seasmoke, who was Laenor, her former husband's dragon. So now she's having these bonding moments with Alan. And so I have hopes for this. I do.
And I'm not as mad at Rhaenyra not giving them their actual names or whatever after all the memes I've been watching this week about Corley's
being that. Well, you made a similar point too in our episode last week. I think you maybe just weren't as harsh about it as some of the videos and stuff that you've shared with me. So
it's true. It's dude, you can't get mad at her for not flipping the switch like that when it took you 40 years.
Yeah, how old is Alan? He ain't young. Hot take number 4, baby gone. Plus Sunfire, proof that even assholes can love their pets. I know we keep saying let's not call dragons pets, but
they're little babies.
In this sense, especially, seriously, Aegon draping himself over Sunfire and crying over him, speaking to him both in the common language and High Valyrian. He's obviously in the denial stage of grief, insisting that he can feel that Sunfire is still alive, even though this dragon is not moving. And as far as we said in the summer, as far as we can see, not fucking breathing. Aegon even starts begging Sunfire to get up in both languages. We can dislike Baby Gone all we want. It was still heart-wrenching to see this. Even shitty ass people can love their pets. I'm not saying all of them do, but
and I mean their pets don't carry the same, except for Sheep Stealer, who just does whatever the fuck it wants. These other dragons are under the command of. So yeah, it was heartbreaking because I love the dragons. They're little babies. I want to have a bunch of little beds in my house with just little dragons everywhere, big ass dragons everywhere.
There's Just get more cats. No, don't get more cats. You have 3 too, right? We both have 3 cats, right?
We have 3, yes. And the cat that is really mine is just as chaotic as Sheep Stealer. So when Sheep Stealer showed up, I was like, oh yeah, here it is. This is Manny's dragon right here.
Yeah. Pigeon isn't quite as chaotic because she's more shy and not as like mean, but she's also the cat that'll like roll over and be like, pet my belly. And you start scratching her belly. And then like 10 seconds later, she's like, wait, no, I didn't want you to actually pet my belly. Even though I rolled over, clearly wanted you to do it, let you do it for like 10 seconds. Now I bite and I bite and I bite and I bite. I have scratches on my arm right now from her doing that just the other day. So Baby Gone also, he even took one of Sunfire's scales and he like clearly like treasuring it. Ugh, he's such an ass. But yet again, I have to say I felt bad for him. I know too much. I know how it feels to lose any pet, but really most especially like a pet that has like your true whole heart, right? Since 2019, I have lost 4 of them. And that's not all the pets I've lost in my life that were extremely important to me, but just since 2019, I've lost 4 extremely important pets and also 2 other ones that I loved very much as well. And it's just like he has the scale and he's like stroking it. He doesn't want to hide it or let it go, but he has to hide it because they're going to Rook's Rest. And then he has their whole adventure that's happening there. I don't have much to say about that just yet because mostly I just wanted to be like, okay, I don't like Baby Gone as a person, but yeah, I feel for this.
Yeah, it's sad because in the end, it's a dead dragon.
Nobody wants your pets to die, even if you're an asshole.
Yeah, because it's not the pet's fault, man. It's the master's problem, except for Sheep Stealer. They are chaotic beasts that should just burn down all the 7 kingdoms and just sit upon their throne eating sheep.
Sheep Stealer don't even know. He don't even know High Valyrian. He didn't know what he was.
He doesn't fucking care. He's like, I don't give a shit. They're like, oh, but this is your homeland. Blah, I'm just burn it all. This is the big chair you can sit on and be king. Blah. Give me the sheep.
He's very food motivated.
Exactly. Hot take number 5. Petty bearers of bad news abound. Or how both Alice Rivers and Ulf seem to love revealing the not-so-fun things they know. Alice doesn't seem too upset that she has to inform Coleslaw that Aemon has left Harrenhal. Even more so, she almost seems to be gloating when she realizes she also got to be the one to reveal that Rhaenyra took King's Landing. Oh my, you didn't know. Just the way she says it. And the look on her face to boot. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
She enjoyed that. One does have to wonder where Aemon and even more so Vhagar is hiding. See, that's the thing. I can see them like hiding Aemon, but Vhagar is a big ass fucking dragon, dude.
She has to be on the Isle of Faces in the middle of the God's Eye or something. There's nowhere else close enough. Assuming that Aemond is still in Harrenhal or in a hut or something very nearby. And honestly, maybe Aemond is also on the Isle of Faces in the God's Eye. Who knows? There are very few places a dragon of her size could be hidden. And even then, like even the Isle of Faces, like it's not, I don't feel like it's big enough for somebody to not be able to look out there and be like, huh, what's that giant black thing over there on the Isle of Faces? I don't know. Is it just like a rock formation or is it Vhagar? And also, what the fuck is she eating? We have to wonder here. It feels a little, it's not quite like Peter Baelish and his TARDIS traveling all over Westeros in like 10 seconds in Game of Thrones, but I do wonder where they think they're hiding.
You can't hide because I thought for a second, I was like, where the hell would you, like, even if they were still in Harrenhal, which I doubt, where the hell?
Oh, I think Aemond is in Harrenhal, but if he's not, he's absolutely Alicent Rivers has a hut. Alicent Rivers has a hut close by.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting interested. As long as they don't leave us in Harrenhal for too long, I'd like to at least see what happened.
Hey, like you said, hopefully Aemond is having his dreams, visions, nightmares. It's a side quest that you don't have to accept. You
have to accept. It's just going to be like, oh, by the way, this was happening over here at the time. You know, okay, great, cool. So you didn't make us watch it. I mean, if they wanted to have a season 5, then they could have done it. And then I would have rage quit at this season is what I would have done.
I know everybody always says show, don't tell. This is a situation where I would rather have a tell, don't show.
Yeah, tell, don't show.
Just give us a brief summary.
Exactly. Like Aemon's going to come back and be like, so what happened? It was at Harrenhal. Oh, how did that go? Yeah, you know how it went. How would you explain it, Aemon? Well, it was like season 2 and it was like 4 episodes out of an 8 episode thing. You know what I'm saying? You know that frustrate? Okay, all right, great. Let's battle. Let's do this. Oh, and Ulf. Quite the balls on this guy, showing up in the council chambers to ask Rhaenyra for some pretty big favors for his drinking buddies. Probably she could have handled this whole thing better, but honestly, what was this guy thinking? But hey, he gets a little bit of petty revenge and telling her about the Queen of Bastards graffiti. That was his little shot. Like, oh,
yeah,
well,
listen. Like,
listen,
why,
they
dude?
hate
I
you.
mean, I understand what they're doing. Just like they did with Hugh in the previous episode, where they made it a point to have him come and be like, hey, my wife's in Tumbleton. And then, like, a little bit later, oh shit, Ormond's taking Tumbleton. This is a lot less important than that. I'm sorry, not sorry. But, like,
Yeah.
he just comes on and he's like, hey, give this guy a whole fucking house, a seat, and like no taxes ever.
That is a lot to ask. Like, who is this? Who the fuck are you, dude?
It's okay to act, like, honestly, forgive this other guy his petty crimes. Honestly, that's understandable. Hey, do you have like a place that my other friend could live that's nicer than where he's living now? But a seat and no taxes? That is too much, my dude. And also, maybe lead with the small one first. Lead with forgive my friend his petty crimes first. I don't know. She still would have said no, let's be real. But yeah, she could have handled it a little bit better, especially when she's like, wait, you were out drinking at taverns out in King's Landing? No, you can't do that. Like, what if some Hightower comes and stabs you in the belly, and then I'm like, out of Dragon Rider, out of dragon. She didn't actually, she doesn't even say out of Dragon Rider.
Out of dragon.
Uses a dragon. So that's mistake number one on Rhaenyra's part. As much as I love her, girl, check your privilege.
He's just very, very bent on just holding the fucking
and
the throne, you know?
And he's like, but it's my belly. And she's like, no, that belongs to me now. Also, not a good look, Rhaenyra. Again, I know she's the queen and this is Westeros and whatever, but like in the same episode as Daemon comes back with 10,000 dragons and you're saying like, let's give them as alms to the small folk. You're telling this guy who's a dragon rider that he can no longer leave the Red Keep and telling him his stomach isn't his, like his body isn't his own. Not cool. I love Rhaenyra, but
she's panicking at this point is what it is.
I know, but girl.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I don't want to see this.
Yeah, not the route I would have chosen with him and saying those things, because that's just going to create discontent.
Oh, and I mean, it clearly already did, because before he leaves the room, he's like, by the way, Queen of Bastards graffiti just painted all over the walls. And he doesn't, it's not even like he's telling her in like this, oh, you might want to do something about this. There's some bad shit being written about you. It's like, people think you're mean and hate you. I mean, he doesn't say it that way, but the petty little way he says it, I can't even say he doesn't have the right to feel a little bit petty in that moment, because he was literally just told that he doesn't own his own body. But I don't know. Anyway, okay. Hot take number 6. Uh-oh, Helena's Prego. I'm trying to do it. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh, Helena's Prego. Or she's got 99 problems and a new possible heir to the throne is about to be won. Listen, we were all pretty sure that this was going to be the case based on that super brief shot in one of the trailers earlier this year where it's like clearly Helena sweaty and screaming has to be giving birth, right? But still, as we used to say in our Dragon Con Looney Game of Thrones panels, theory confirmed. I am wondering who the father is. I'm not saying it's Aemond, but unless I'm missing something in the show's timeline, I do think it could be in question. I'm just saying. And I tried looking it up to see if anybody else had the same thing. And now granted, I did it first thing this morning. So everything I was finding was like stuff from like 2 years ago or something. I know that it hasn't been that long since the battle of Rook's Rest, where Aegon was severely injured, but she's pregnant enough to be showing. So she's, what do you think, like 4 months maybe?
She's got to be 4 months, yeah.
At least. She could be 5. It shows differently on different people. Everybody's body is different, but I would say she is at minimum 4 months. It could be 5. It could be more, but at minimum 4 months. And it's like, Aegon was laid up in bed for a while too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, again, I am not saying this is a theory I like. I'm not saying it's one I necessarily subscribe to. I just think it is possible that this might be Aemon's and not Aegon's child.
Gross.
Yeah. Also, it's just, poor Helena, man. She clearly wanted to keep this a secret as long as possible, even from Allison, for all the obvious reasons. She wants to have this baby, and it's like, will Allison try and make her get rid of it to keep her safe, to keep Helena safe? Because at this point, right now, Helena only has a daughter left.
Yeah.
What will happen if, or rather when, Rhaenyra finds out? Like, just big oof all around. Again, like I said, I think we all knew it was going to be happening. I think from the shot in the trailer earlier this year, the Allison trying to make her get rid of it. Will Allison try? Yes. Will that happen? Clearly not, if that shot in the trailer is what we all thought it was, which was Helena giving birth. But again, if this is a boy, this is just another boy in that line that could challenge Rhaenyra's rule. And I don't see that going well for that baby. And I don't, poor Helena, can she just be happy and live with her chickens and bugs?
She's the only one that I'm just like, I just want her to just make it through all of this. Hold on tight, girl.
I still think she's being like criminally underused in these episodes. Like, she hasn't had a vision or a dream that she's talked about in a while. So I don't know, maybe more of that will come as the season progresses. And I'm not even saying we need that from her, but I just, yeah, like you said, I just want her to live a happy life. And her dragon, she still has the dragon that she's like apparently not even allowed to see. So I just want her to have a farm with chickens, and her dragon the chickens can eat her bugs and the dragon can eat her chickens. I don't know how that would really work, but listen, whatever she wants, she should get.
Yep. Hot take number 7, last but certainly not least, dragon daddy issues, or which is worse, dragon issues or daddy issues. Does it even matter when Rhaena sadly has both? And boy, is she looking rough. Did she cut off her hair? Did it get burnt off?
No, for me, I am actually wondering if she cut it off or if it got burned off in a way like book Daenerys style. In the show, they didn't do this. In Game of Thrones, they didn't do this. But in the books, when Daenerys goes into that fire and it burns off all of her clothes, it burns off all of her hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
with the fire that hatches her dragon eggs. It's not the same at all, but it does feel like it could be a nod to book Daenerys if her hair got burned off, but I guess we don't know. I don't know.
Phoebe Campbell and Matt Smith are absolutely amazing in the scene, but Phoebe Campbell especially. It's heartbreaking, honestly, to hear how she felt, ignored, discarded, pitied without a dragon, and now that she finally has a dragon and she has to be on the run because of what happened at the Gullet. I really hope we get more of her and Sheep Stealer.
Yeah, I don't see how it could end well for anyone, especially including her and Sheep Stealer, if we see too much more of her. But I really hope that wasn't her just flying away from Daemon. And I really hope that wasn't the last that we see of them. I don't think it will be. I really don't think it will be. But there's this other part of me that's like, oh, but what if it is? And she was like, just let me go. Just let me sleep. Just let me be on my own. Also, is it me or was Daemon a bit hard to read in this scene? I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but I honestly couldn't tell what he was most upset about. Was it the state of Rhaena? Because he asked her, like, what did you do to yourself, right? Was it the state of Rhaena? Was it finding out that she mistakenly, but still did have a hand in Jace's death? Was it realizing that at least 2 people, Lady Erin and now himself, know that she of all people did have a part in Jace's death? Was it the fact that she abandoned her guardianship of his younger children, who in her mind at least he cares about more because they're Rhaenyra's, maybe, like, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know, like, how did you feel about that? Again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it was good that we don't know, because he was clearly upset, but about what? About all of it? I don't know.
Yeah, so I got a clear read on this one. This was the first time that I felt that Daemon came off as an actual human being.
No, I agree.
He was terrified for her and was like, oh my God, we'll do this. And then even when he comes back with the head, because he wants to protect her, that's paternal instincts. The way he reacted and the way everything was and what he was telling her and all this stuff, to me, came off as 100% just paternal instinct. He was just trying to protect her is what it was. And he's willing to do whatever, to lie to fucking Rhaenyra here and whatever, because he's like, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Honestly, the way he reacted to it was like exactly how maybe a time or two I've protected my kids. Just how surprised he was with everything and concerned and all this stuff. I'm like, wow, this is the first time I've actually seen him be an actual fucking human being. And not that he wasn't in the end. Like, there's no shitting on him. I love him. But this was the time where I felt like he was the most real and almost the most vulnerable in a way. Very well done. Very well acted. He didn't have to say anything. Like, I read right through him the whole time. This great scene. It was definitely it was probably my favorite interaction in the entire episode.
Oh, absolutely. 10 out of 10 Targ eyebrows.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Eyebrows.
The rest of the episode is kind of like, I don't know how I feel about these other hot takes, but for this one, I can absolutely. I mean, when I was watching it last night, I was just like, all of this in Fire and Blood. It's a young girl named Nettles. She's obviously some sort of Targaryen bastard. And there's a whole thing in the books about how her and Daemon might have had an affair. So there's been a lot of like, how do we feel about Rhaena taking the place of Nettles in the fandom? And I think that it still could have been really cool to have a Nettles character in the show. But I also understand, like, listen, how many brand new characters do we need? And that may or may not be there for very long, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much about the future of the Nettles character in case they work more of that into Rhaena's storyline. But obviously, I mean, I would hope that obviously Daemon is not going to have an affair with his own daughter. I mean, they are Targaryens, but Targaryens aren't generally that disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, they're gross, but they're not that gross.
They're not that gross.
I don't obviously think they're going to go that route. And I hope there aren't any like weird rumors that start being passed around in the show that it might be something like that. I do hope we see more of Rhaena and Sheepstealer. And again, like you said, man, both of them are great in this scene. But I think that Phoebe Campbell has been really good this season, especially. I don't think they gave her much, if anything, to work with most of the time in previous seasons. And I think that they're really using her well in this season. And I want them to continue that. So hopefully her riding off on Sheepstealer doesn't include that storyline.
Agreed.
I think it is about time for our favorites roundup. I've got a couple brief ones here. First of all, the Footleys in Tumbleton. Dude, Lord Footley is a bit of a tool, but at least Lady Footley is like fucking there, man, standing up for our queen. Ormond is like, oh, so you only backed her because you were scared. And Lady Footley is like, fuck no, I backed her because she's the queen. She's the rightful queen. Yes, girl, women supporting women.
Exactly, dude. Oh, man.
And then later she stands up for the family that Ormond's man attacked. So she is the one who's like, hey, you told me that your men were honorable. This man is a douche.
Yep.
Fucking take care of this. Like, she does not let that slide. So good for her. Good for her. And in the books, I think in Fire and Blood, she's described as being like very bold and outspoken. So I don't know how much she will factor in like future episodes, but I liked that they at least showed that in this.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have said this one first because it piggybacks on the Rhaena and Daemon scene, but the windy boy was extra. He was extra windy and even more extra like floppy in this episode.
They're making it more windy as it goes.
But I think he's now like windy and floppy. Like, what would the combination of those words be? Like, windy?
Yeah.
Wimpley? Like, I don't know.
Man, I don't know.
Also, the dragon noises in the past couple of episodes, right, have been just very extra. And they did it in episode 3, but they continued on with that track in this episode. Lots of dragon noises. But yes, the windy boy, extra windy and super floppy in this episode.
Super floppy, extra windy, long neck, very long
legs.
neck. Yeah.
10 out of 10 Targ eyebrows for making Daemon's dragon look so ridiculous.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, listen, the windy boy is also a badass dragon.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Also looks ridiculous. And I think it's funny that it's Daemon's dragon of all the dragons that looks like, yes, Sheepstealer looks ridiculous, but he looks like badass ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah. The windy boy looks like
also badass ridiculous, but the windy boy is just
windy boy. No, The Windy Boy is just like a Stretch Armstrong doll that has just been stretched too much. So in every episode, it's like we get more stretchy, more floppy, more windy, because Damon's sitting there like just stretching it too much because he's angry little kid. He has to like
It's like Gumby and Pokey.
Yeah, exactly.
Those Gumby and Pokey toys that you can stretch.
That's what he's doing with like the Windy Boy. He just gets angry because he's like, I'm not getting my way, and he starts one of those frustration toys.
The other favorite thing I had was I'm very interested that they brought in the character Tangletongue, the younger guy that was working with Baby Gone, cleaning the latrines in Rook's Rest. I don't want to say too much here, but I will say he is a character in Fire and Blood, and he is one that I at least think would have been easy for them to leave out entirely or merge with another character or characters, which maybe they'll still do something like that. But I am intrigued to see where they go with this character of the show, because I felt like they brought him in and made him important enough in this episode that I feel like they might be expanding his role, and maybe they'll merge other Fire and Blood characters with him instead of I honestly was shocked to see him, and maybe that's on me, like I haven't watched enough trailers or read enough interviews or whatever, but I'm intrigued to see what they do there, because I wasn't really expecting that this character would exist in any aspect, let alone, to this extent. So
yeah, my favorites in this episode, there wasn't many, honestly, because there's two really. So obviously one of them is always, Sheep Stealer, Raina, and Damon having that conversation. I guess also I can throw in the Alice Rivers with the, oh, you didn't know. Like I love her as an actress. She's just fantastic. And I love her delivery. But also, even though the episode was kind of not really going anywhere, and the way it was, all I kept thinking throughout it, instead of getting frustrated, I was just like, well, like, you know what? Could be worse. This could be Harrenhal. So every time I felt like that, I was like, well, it's not Harrenhal. There's like some variety of scenery going on here. Yeah, but that one scene with Damon and Reina was good. And again, not that the episode was bad or anything like that. I know this is the parts that they have to do, but at least even with this, it just didn't feel like as wasteful as the Harrenhal stuff from season 2. Because at least I felt like there was something moving here, and it's setting something up. Because you had said that this felt more like it was just setting things up, and that's at least with this there was. Because Harrenhal was just setting me up for like a stroke. Like I couldn't watch anymore. So they did a good job with it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like overall, I would give the episode like a 6.5 or maybe a 7 out of 10.
I think that's fair.
I think for me, I'm giving it a slightly higher rating because I see a lot of the things that they're setting up, and some of which I can't even, like, I don't want to talk about. We kept saying, like, we know there's going to be an episode that's a little bit slower and a little bit more just kind of, it's like grinding, right? It's like grinding in a video game. That's what this episode felt like. So 6.5 to 7. And I will say, like, the reason it got that high of a rating is because of that Damon and Raina scene. I really feel if it weren't for that scene, I probably would have been more like a 5 to 6. But because of that scene, it pushes it up quite a bit. I really fucking love that scene. I'm excited to see how some of the stuff in this episode comes to fruition. I'm hoping at least some of it will come to fruition sooner rather than later. And I think that the reason I'm saying it's like a 6.5 to maybe 7 is because I am a little like, ugh, come on, guys. We didn't get to see anything about what is going on with Aemond. Like, not that I want to see, like you said, like some drawn out, ridiculous Aemond storyline after. We don't need Aemond's version of Luigi's Mansion. Okay, we don't need that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it is weird to me that he's been persona non grata for now 2 episodes, especially with as major of a character as they've made him out to be. And also even the episode preview for this week, I kind of felt like, okay, so we're going to see something of Aemon, right? No, not even a glimpse. Not even a glimpse. So I don't know. Also, I mean, literally any coleslaw is too much coleslaw. So that knocked it down a little bit too.
Exactly, dude. But I don't know if I got to hear his mouth and just see him in that stupid helmet.
And he was whining about like, oh, like I'm just a foot soldier, blah blah. Dude, you were in that major tourney in King's Landing in season 1. You like immediately got posted to the Kingsguard. And now you're like, well, if there's no war, like you rich people have a home to go back to, but I don't have a home to go back to as long as Rhaenyra. And the way he said her
Yeah.
name, Rhaenyra since the Iron Throne. I'm like, ugh, whine a little more, you fucking incel.
Exactly. Fucking incel.
Sir incel a lot over here.
Sir incel a lot. Exactly.
Last but not least, what are Maester Mandy's predictions for the next episode?
I feel it's going to open with Aemond, and we're going to find out something. Because they have to know that at this point, people are getting a little ruffled around the feathers. They want to know what is happening with him. So even if they don't tell an entire thing, I think we should get some kind of hint of what's going on with it. Another prediction is that we're going to see, and I could be completely wrong about this, but there was something about some of these scenes with Baby gone that I feel like you're going to see him be a little bit of a human being. I just feel like him hanging out with the muck per se, I feel like there is going to be some type of humanity that is going to come out of him.
One can only hope.
One can only hope.
People got to learn lessons somehow.
They do. And I
He
feel
literally
like
had to kiss a fucking feces covered boot. I don't think that was animal feces. Just saying.
No, probably not.
Saying. Anything else about this episode?
Just, you know what? It was a good builder for the next
Yeah.
one. We got to have these episodes that just kind of fill in the blanks with stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even with this episode being the way it was, it actually made me excited to see how many moving parts and how many things can
Yes.
actually go wrong in this. So it makes it where I can understand like Rhaenyra's kind of pensiveness about everything going on and how she's kind of just all over the place. Like I understand because we all waited for our queen to take the throne and we're all excited, but then it came all the like, oh, but we have to hold the throne too. So now it's like, okay, this is going to be crazy.
As we close out the episode, we just want to thank you, our listeners, for joining us for Hot Tea Takes. Manny and I will be back next week to cover season 3, episode 5. For the most current news and updates about this series, make sure to follow at A Geek Saga on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and or YouTube. And also, pretty please consider backing our Patreon at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.